Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to share with you 5 mistakes every guitarist makes so you stop doing them yourself. Stay tuned and I'll tell you all about them after this. So in this video, as I said, we're going to look at 5 mistakes all guitarists make. If you haven't done it already, make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel and click that alert bell so you don't miss any updates. Right then, so number 1. One of the mistakes I see from guitarists all the time is not using a metronome when you practice. This is literally the thing I see from guitarists all the time. They spend ages and ages working on licks and solos and forget about your best friend, the metronome. So if you don't already own a metronome, make sure you get one and start practicing with it. You can play songs with a metronome, you can play scales with a metronome, you can play licks with a metronome. All that time when you're practicing with a metronome, it's going to instill in you a solid sense of time, which is absolutely everything. Timekeeping is everything as a musician. So if you don't already, get yourself a metronome and start practicing with it. Number 2 then, the second mistake I see guitarists do all the time is not practicing consistently. If we want to get better at the guitar, obviously we have to practice it, but there's a mistake which a lot of guitarists make, which is rather than doing a little bit every day, they spend maybe a Saturday afternoon where they'll spend 5 hours playing guitar and won't pick it up again for the rest of the week. You're so much better off practicing consistently, little bit every day. Even if it's 10, 15 minutes every day, that is so much more beneficial than practicing once a week in a large block, okay? So I promise you, have a go at doing this. Just commit yourself to going, right, for the next month, I'm going to practice the guitar every single day, even if it's for 15 minutes. Ideally, you know, a bit longer is better, but if you only have 15 minutes, just pick that guitar up, play some technique stuff, do a few scales, learn something new, and jam some songs or do whatever you love most about playing the guitar. I promise you, practice consistently for 30 days and you'll notice a dramatic improvement in your guitar playing. Point number 3 then, another mistake I see guitarists make all the time is not practicing rhythm. This, I can't understand it. Rhythm guitar is so important, and just rhythm in general is the foundation of music. If you can't play good rhythm, you don't understand rhythm, your lead playing is going to suffer, and playing in time is everything. If we play the right notes, but they're not in time, they're wrong. Simple as that. You know, it's absolutely key that you get the hang of rhythm. You'll be able to play solid rhythm guitar and just understand some basic rhythmic elements, and I promise you, you're not only going to see a massive improvement in your rhythm guitar playing, it will dramatically change the way you play guitar solos as well. Number 4 then, another mistake I see guitarists make all the time is not practicing muting, which just means we hear a lot of excess string noise. I'll show you what I mean. So if I kick on a really heavy distortion and I just play up a minor pentatonic scale without any muting, you can hear the racket. You can hear all that excess string noise. All of these strings just ringing over the top of my melodies. So I'll show you the difference. If I mute, you can clearly hear every single note. So we need to focus on practicing muting. Now there's a bunch of exercises that you can do, but if this is something you've never even considered and you're wondering why your solos or your lead playing sound a bit messy, just have a go at this very, very simple exercise. We're going to play up an A minor pentatonic scale, but we need to make sure that when we're on the lower strings, your fret in hand is muting everything above it. So if I'm playing with my first finger there, this finger is muting all of that underneath it. So when I play that 5th fret on the low A, everything is being muted, that with my first finger. And the same when I get to my little finger, my first finger is muting all of the other strings. When I get to the A string, again, my first finger is muting all the strings higher. And when I get to that note, the same thing. So my first finger is always taking care of everything above it. The issue that most guitarists have is muting the strings that we've just left. So when we leave the E string and we move to the A string, bring in this hand and palm mute it. So as soon as I've just got onto the A string and I've played that note, I'm touching the back edge of my palm there on the E string near the bridge. You can also as well use the tip of your index finger to mute it as well. So let me just show you that going up through the scale. I play the first 2 notes. When I get on the A string, this hand, my picking hand, is muting the E string. When I leave the A string and I get onto the D string, I'm going to roll this hand around a bit and I'm going to start muting the A string as well. And when I leave the D string and get to the G, this hand is moving forward again. My picking hand is going to roll around a little bit and I'm going to start muting the D string. So when I'm on the G string there, these low strings, the E, the A and the D, are being muted with my picking hand, and my first finger is covering the B and the E. And it's just the same thing. As I leave the G string, I'm going to mute it with this hand, with my picking hand. And also I am touching the tip of the G string with my first finger. And then I leave the B string, and I'm muting it there again with this hand, and I'm just touching the tip of it with my index. So every string I leave, I'm touching the one underneath it with the tip of my index and muting it with my picking hand. And then coming down the scale, it's everything just in reverse. So my first finger's taking care of everything, these higher strings, and this hand is taking care of all of the lower strings. Okay, and that way you get a lovely, clean and precise sounding note, rather than it sounding like this. Okay, where the strings all ring into each other, we get a much neater sound. So that was point number 4. That's something I see from guitarists a lot. They don't spend any time focusing on muting. And you'll see this when you're learning lead, solos and riffs. If there's ever any excess string noise, just look at where it's coming from and just practice the muting element as well. It's the non-sexy stuff. Obviously, this stuff is not the cool thing, but it's super, super important. So point number 5 then, the final thing that I see guitarists do a lot is not tuning correctly. Now, you think, well, I've got a tuner, I can tune my guitar, but I see so many guitarists doing this where they'll absolutely wallop the strings when they play. So maybe a rock player and you're doing something like this. You know, I'm absolutely hammering the strings just to make them sound really, really cool, aggressive and rocky. And then you'll tune like this. Plucking really, really soft. Now the issue with that is when you pluck a string hard, it actually sharpens it. If you're plucking the string really soft, chances are it's going to be a little bit flatter. So normally, if you're a hard picker, especially if you're into rock music or heavy metal and you're doing any detuning, you need to just make sure that you tune at the same velocity that you play. So if you're a hard picker, pick hard when you tune. Vice versa. If you're a soft picker when you play, tune softly. So however you play, make sure when you tune up, you're doing exactly the same velocity with your pick. So if I'm whacking the strings, when I play, I'm going to tune really hard. If I'm a soft plucker, I'm going to tune in the same way. So that's point number 5. Make sure that you tune to the same velocity as you play. And that was 5 mistakes I see guitarists make all of the time. If you haven't done it already, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel and click the alert bell. If you want to get in touch with myself, there's a few ways you can do. Come and check out fretlix.com. The link will be in the description. Also have a Facebook group, which I'll post below as well in the description. And I look forward to seeing you again soon.